For the Philistines gathered their forces for war against Israel. A champion stepped forward from their ranks, Goliath, towering and fearsome. But what happens when someone seemingly small faces a giant? How can faith overcome overwhelming odds? The Israelite army trembled before Goliath's challenge, his immense size and menacing armor striking terror into their hearts. Then David, a young shepherd boy, stepped forward. His simple sling and stones seemed utterly inadequate against Goliath's war equipment. This moment was a turning point for David. His brothers, focused on their own anxieties, dismissed his offer to face Goliath. He saw things differently. This giant wasn't just a threat to Israel's army. He was an affront to God himself. David knew that courage wasn't the absence of fear but acting in spite of it. His faith was unwavering, and he believed that with God on his side, even a seemingly impossible challenge could be overcome. He volunteered not for glory or personal gain, but out of devotion and a sense of duty to protect his people. This act of selfless courage would forever etch David's name in history. Goliath, a mountain of a man, bellowed his challenge across the valley. He mocked Israel's army and their God, boasting about his own strength and invincibility. His words were meant to intimidate, to break their spirits before a single blow was struck. Yet David remained calm amidst this storm of arrogance. He didn't rise to Goliath's taunts or engage in boasts of his own. Instead, he stood firm, his faith unwavering. Saul, king of Israel, sought to equip David for battle, hoping his strength and youthful energy would give them an advantage. He offered David his own armor, a heavy breastplate, helmet, and sword, the standard gear of a seasoned warrior. However, David refused it all, finding it cumbersome and unfamiliar. He knew he couldn't rely on borrowed weapons or outward appearances to conquer Goliath. His trust was in something far greater. David knew what he needed for this fight. It wasn't the weight of armor or the flash of a sword. His weapon was familiar, something he'd wielded countless times before: his sling. He walked to the brookside and gathered 5 smooth stones, each one carefully chosen for its weight and balance. They weren't weapons of conquest, but tools honed by practice, extensions of his own skill and resolve. David placed these stones in his pouch, a quiet confidence settling over him. The valley echoed with Goliath's mocking taunts. David stood firm, his small stature dwarfed by the giant before him. He aimed his sling, each movement precise and controlled. The tension in the air was palpable, a silent storm brewing between these two figures. With a flick of his wrist, David launched the stone. It soared through the air, a blur against the blue sky. Time seemed to slow as the stone arced toward its target. With a deafening thud, it struck Goliath's forehead, sending the giant crashing to the ground. The air hung heavy with disbelief. The giant, once a symbol of unyielding power, lay motionless on the ground. His massive frame, which had seemed invincible moments before, now sprawled helplessly, a testament to the unexpected turn of events. The impact of David's stone reverberated through the ranks of the Philistines, shattering their confidence and sowing seeds of doubt. David, his youthful face etched with determination, stood over Goliath's fallen form, the shepherd boy who had defied all odds. The air, once thick with the Philistine war cry, now crackled with terror. The giant's fall had unleashed a wave of panic that swept through their ranks like wildfire. Their meticulously planned advance crumbled into chaos as they turned and fled, abandoning their shields and weapons in their desperate scramble for survival. One by one, the mighty warriors who had once seemed invincible were consumed by fear, their faces contorted with terror as they raced back towards their homeland. A joyous chorus erupted throughout the land as news of David's victory spread like wildfire. The Israelites, once burdened by fear and despair, now reveled in their deliverance. Triumphant music filled the air, mingled with the ecstatic shouts of a people celebrating their newfound freedom. David himself was met with adoration wherever he went. His courage had become a legend, his name synonymous with strength and unwavering faith. Men and women alike hailed him as a hero, their eyes shining with gratitude and admiration. The elders showered him with blessings, recognizing him not only as a warrior but as a divinely chosen leader. The celebrations lasted for weeks, a testament to the profound impact David had made on his people's hearts and souls.